Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house?
Let me see. Trying to make it work. Trying to make it work. Okay.
Slash noir from the great Francis Lawrence and starring the iconic Keanu Reeves. So this is one, I hit up Francis and then I hit up Keanu's team and they wanted to come by and chat on the 20th anniversary of Constantine, almost 20 years to the day that Constantine came out. This is a deep dive into a movie that I know a lot of people love as much as I do. Also worth noting, if you love Constantine, there's a really cool new 4K out there, literally out right now, I believe. So get it on Amazon, wherever you get your DVDs, if you want to celebrate like a gorgeous, pristine version of Constantine. So Keanu Reeves, guys, I mean, that's always a special treat. I've talked to Keanu a lot over the years, but he's never been on the podcast, so this was a really great excuse to have him on. I think you guys are going to dig it. Of course you're going to dig it. You're here for Keanu. Things to mention before we get to the main event, though, really quickly. I'll mention, of course, our Patreon for those folks that love Happy Sad Confused and what I do and want more bonus content, exclusives, early announcements, merch, discounts to all our live events. That and a lot more is over on the Patreon, patreon.com/Happy Sad Confused. Give it a shot. Live events, speaking of those, we've got a lot coming up. One I can announce. I've announced this already. If you're a theater fan, Nathan Lane, come on, a legend. March 20th in New York City at Symphony Space. All the information is in the show notes. Get your tickets now. It's selling quite well, so hope to see you guys there. Okay, so not much more to say before we dive into this conversation, except to say two of the nicest guys in the biz. Francis Lawrence, someone I've done a lot with over the years through his Hunger Games movies, and he did one of our watch-alongs last year. Was it last year? Maybe the year before. And just always like such a sweet guy for someone that can handle these ginormous, crazy productions. And Constantine, as you'll hear in this conversation, was his first. And Keanu, there's nothing more to say about Keanu except he's kind of the gold standard, the nicest guy in the biz, legendary, and I love that he's so passionate about this film that came 20 years ago. And hopefully he'll be returning to the character. As you'll hear in this, we talk a little bit about the future of Constantine as well. So this is a rare treat. This is kind of an exclusive for Happy Sad Confused. I'm going to try to do more of these anniversary things. If you like them, if you saw our Galaxy Quest one, if you haven't checked that out, go into the archives just a couple months back. Had on Sam Rockwell and Justin Long to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Galaxy Quest. Now we're doing our 20th for Constantine. What else do you want to see? What anniversaries are coming up? Mention them in the comments below. I'm always looking for good ideas, and these are nice excuses to bring on folks that wouldn't normally be doing press. Okay, enough from me. You want to hear from Keanu and Francis. Enjoy this, and remember, if you love Constantine, check out the 4K. It's out now. Here we go. Francis Lawrence, Keanu Reeves, and me talking all things Constantine. Enjoy. All right, guys, does everybody have their holy shotguns? Are we ready to wish a happy 20th birthday to the beautiful child of the exorcist in Chinatown that is Constantine? Keanu's ready, I think. Francis Lawrence is ready. Yes, we've got the director and the star of Constantine, Francis, a veteran of the podcast. Thanks for coming back, man.
Of course.
And Keanu, we've talked many times, but officially, first time on the podcast. It's so good to see you for this just and wonderful cause today. Thanks, man.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it. Yeah.
Of course.
And by the way, I do have the holy shotgun, so I could go grab it and bring it over at some point too.
We might need to enlist that.
It's in the
If there's ever an intruder, that will scare them off in a hot second,
exactly.
I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So look, I mean, a lot to talk about this this movie. I mean, I think that the greatest testament to any film, any piece of art, is some amount of longevity. And here we are, talking about this 20 years later. If anything, the fan base has grown. Just broadly speaking, how does it feel to know that there is such a love, if anything, a growing love for what you guys created 20 years ago? Francis.
It's kind of wild. I will say it's a very gratifying thing. I mean, look, it was my first movie, and it was something that I think had great team spirit from everybody involved, from me, Keanu certainly, but all the actors, the crew, and we all believed in the character, the story, the world, all of it. Really loved making it, and it got like sort of a weird reception. I think we kind of got by in terms of box office and stuff, but a strange reception, and was a strange movie for the time. It certainly helped jumpstart my career, and so
what
very
do people not like about it? I forget.
I mean, I just think it was just strange. I don't remember all the sort of criticisms.
I blocked it out, so I can't recall.
But I think it, I don't know. I quite honestly, I can't remember what the criticisms were, but it was not like the most praised movie of all time. I mean, it wasn't completely shit on either. But I will say that just over the years, as I was working on other movies and we'd go on junkets to travel the world and all that, everybody just started showing up with Constantine DVDs, and you just felt this love for the movie, and probably more so than anything I've ever done. You just feel this kind of growing love for it, and then years later, suddenly you make these lists of the movies that Rotten Tomatoes got wrong. And you're like, the sort of poster child for that movie, and you go, oh, okay. It's a fantastic feeling. I mean, that's kind of what it's about, right? It's not necessarily about making money and necessarily reviews or awards or anything, but it's like somehow making something that in any way becomes like a part of somebody's life and is meaningful somehow.
For you, Keanu, I mean, do you question, look, I know you guys had an amazing experience on this, and you were very proud and excited about what you guys had done. So then when, it's received and it's got mixed reception at first, do you kind of question yourself in your mind, like, am I off? Is my gauge off? Or did you just 100% believe it just wasn't connecting? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool to have people come up to me over the years and just, share their appreciation for the film, and then also asking, so when's the next one? And that's been nice. And I've been asked that question now for 19 years.
Well, we're going to get to that. It sounds like we're getting closer. But first, I mean, I think there's also a great irony in the fact that, you two are notoriously...
Oh, I'm sorry, but I knew that I felt like
go.
the film was cool. I was so excited to work with Francis, and in the cast that eventually was assembled, and just, such a great experience to make, and so coming out of it, I felt like, and having watched the film, I was like, the idea of the hope and the ambition to what was actualized, to Francis's vision and what everyone did on the film, I was very confident in. I really felt like it was a beautiful, exceptional, entertaining film, and so when it wasn't, however it was critiqued or criticized in terms of the negative aspects of it, it was like, what are you talking about?
Well, the thing is there's no comp for it. There's virtually no comp for it. I think that was the problem.
It was very unique. I think that's what I loved about it. I mean, and I've done this a lot over my career, which is I've always been attracted to these kind of strange mashup hybrid genres, and so this was definitely one. And I think that's the thing, is that no, I don't think anybody had seen anything like it.
Right. I mean, the closest I can think of it, it's a kind of a different thing, is I always loved the movie Dark City, which was kind of a combo of noir, sci-fi. This is noir and horror having a baby. So even that's not quite the right comp. So I can imagine from a studio, I mean, I'm frankly shocked even the studio and I think I'm so happy they did. But they gave you, Francis, who had a hell of a resume as a music video director. But you had a nice budget for this too. You had like a good.
No, I mean, looking back, I'm sort of like, wow, I can't believe I sort of pulled that off with the studio.
I was gonna say before, I also find a delicious irony in the fact that like you two guys are notoriously two of the nicest human beings on the planet, and you make this film that is all about, you know, the occult and heaven and hell and demons. And I'm just curious, have you both always, like, I don't know, had an attraction like towards The Exorcist, The Omen, films that somewhat are in this ilk?
I was really careful of not inviting the darkness into this. You know, I didn't want to do The Exorcist. I didn't want to be. I liked that this was a step removed from any kind of Catholic, you know, heaven. I mean, of course, there's similarities, and we're playing in the playground, but I didn't want to invoke, you know, any darkness.
Well, there's a sense of humor throughout. There's a wink to Constantine. That's very important.
To your point, I guess I take those kinds of things seriously, and I didn't want to bring that. You know, we're talking about heaven and hell and being damned, but I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to say the name or invoke anything out there. I didn't want any darkness. I felt like I wanted this to be a project of light. Person.
But I will say, I tend to lean toward, and this was not, I did not know this at the time, but I tend to lean toward stories about very sort of lonely, isolated characters on very solitary journeys. And that also tends to sort of dabble in darkness. That doesn't mean that I lead my life in a dark way.
I didn't mind the darkness.
But I'd say that, like, I'd say that Duhhlion and I have, like are drawn to darkness. Not that we think, like, that's what you need to put out in the world, but, you know, I think there are complexities there that sort of draw us to characters like John Constantine and those kinds of worlds.
Yeah, Francis, I'm just talking about, you know.
I totally.
I didn't want to bring any fucking devil shit.
Yes. No, 100%.
You know, like,
yeah.
Santeria, like fucking.
Exactly.
Leave all of that alone.
Yes.
I like darkness of character. And
yeah, exactly.
Suffering and loneliness, you know, and, you know, outsider, but none of the boogeyman.
Yeah.
No movie is worth Keanu Reeves being damned to hell. We don't need that. That's no. We don't want that.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about the joining of you two, because as I understand it, Keanu, you sign on, or you're at least attached to it. And as I said, Francis is a first-time director. He's trying to kind of get in on this, and it was a bit of a long road. You were talking to the studio for a while.
You have a story about that?
It was a very long road. Actually, in my office over here, I have framed. I was gifted at the end of the movie, but there's a cocktail napkin from a hotel in, I think, Sydney, Australia, when Irwin, who's still my manager but used to work with Keanu, and the executive at Warner's at the time, had gone to go meet with Keanu and had a list of directors to pitch. But basically, I spent about 9 months trying to get this job, and first I had to convince the exec at Warner Brothers to sort of, you know, like, pass that hurdle, that I could do it, that I'm responsible, all of that I have a vision. I had to meet with all the producers. There's a million of them, including Akiva. I passed all of that. The last speed bump was going to be Keanu, and Keanu had said, like, I'm open, but no music video, guys. And I was like, oh, shit. Right?
I watched some music videos.
They're really good music videos.
But anyway, it's great. I have my name. I'm like one of, I think, 8 people on this list on a cocktail napkin that got pitched to Keanu. But anyway, Keanu luckily was willing to meet me. So he came in from Sydney, having just finished the Matrix sequels, and came in and sat down, and I filled this boardroom at the company where I did music videos. This boardroom of, like, this presentation I had built out that had my ideal cast and, like, images of how I wanted it to look, and images of locations and illustrations of certain shots, like Constantine and Hell, and all, like, basically I had the whole movie mapped out. And we spent about 4 hours that day, and then we met, I think, at the Chateau Marmont like a few days later, and had another like 4 or 5 hour meeting. And I think we just sort of understood one another and understood each other's kind of point of view on the character and the world and the story and all of that, and we got along. And so it's, you know, just luckily Keanu approved the vision and the approach and our connection. But yeah, so he was the last hurdle. I had made it so far, and then, you know, he was like, no music video, guys.
So Keanu, what are you like? You've obviously worked with heavyweights that have amazing story careers behind them. You've also worked with first-time filmmakers. What are you feeling out in that meeting? You're seeing the vision, but is it also kind of a vibe check? Like, what happened there? What happens generally to earn your trust from a first-time filmmaker?
Yeah, I was walking into that room in the presentation and meeting this fine young man. And so I thought, since I didn't know him, it was just starting with the presentation and the vision, you know, Francis had for the film, which I was like, and yeah, and just speaking sense of humor, intelligence, the way he views the world, or actually not the world, but filmmaking and storytelling, and what the script needed and was looking to do, what his take on the film would be. And so yeah, so I guess to answer your question, it's just what's the director's vision? How do they imagine the film? You know, and can I be a part of that? Am I a good piece for that? So
I think part of it too, just to jump in a little, is that, you know, we weren't 100% there yet on the script in our eyes, and so there was like so much potential, and we were getting there. So I think part of what we were talking about once we got past the sort of visual side and you're getting into the story and the narrative and the characters is, you know, you start batting around ideas. And so part of testing one another out is like, how well do we collaborate? How much do we like one another's ideas? Are we really listening? Are ideas gelling? Are they building off of one another? And I think there was a lot of that, where like I might throw something out or he might throw something out, and it would start to generate something that was kind of exciting, and you'd find new exciting things together, and you realize like, oh, there can be a real collaboration here. And which also happened with Akiva, who was, you know, really kind of took on the bulk of the writing on the back end of the story. And
Elevating my style used to mean breaking the bank, but with Quince, I get high-end, versatile pieces at prices I can actually afford. Now I can upgrade my style by snagging killer luxury essentials that sync with my vibe and wallet, and I can personally attest to this, and more importantly, my wife can too, because she is in love with her 100% organic cotton knit blazer. She loves it because she can dress it up, she can dress it down, it's comfortable, it's relaxed, it's perfect for work and for going out. The best part is Quince has all the must-haves, like Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweaters, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow-knit activewear. Plus, all their items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/happysadco for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/happysadco to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/happysadco. So even prior to Francis' involvement, you obviously keyed into something about that script, even if it wasn't quite there yet, and something about that character, Keanu. Like, what can you pinpoint a little bit of what about John Constantine as a character was so enticing to you back then, and still is?
yeah, he's just pissed off at the way the world is.
It's fun to play pissed off at the world, I suppose.
Fucking love that. There's good reasons.
Yeah.
And being trapped by that, and having an opinion, and I liked his sense of humor. I think we leaned into that a little bit, and so I would say that was the thing, you know. And he's fucked. So I really liked that too. Like,
Do you?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember John Constantine's first line in the film? I think that really sums up the character right there. The opening sequence with John Constantine and what he first says.
I don't recall the first line.
Francis, do you know?
I'm trying to think. It's
He doesn't say much as he enters into
no,
this
no, he doesn't.
exorcism.
He doesn't say any. He lights his cigarette. He
Let's-
sort of flicks the one out of the cab. He comes out of the cab. He comes in. He
Yep.
lights the cigarette. Hennessy.
It's a beautiful
"Found one.
overhead.
I found one, John. And he doesn't say anything. He goes down the hall, and
It's
Oh,
not
right.
until
that's
I
the
need a
cigarette
mirror?
down on the table. He sees
need
the
a mirror?
What?
I think maybe I
Maybe
missed. Maybe I got it wrong, but I think
No, I'm
literally
John.
at first-
I'm Constantine. John Constantine, asshole.
This is John Constantine, asshole.
That's right.
It's
to
the first
the
one.
demon and the girl. That's right. That's what the line is.
If you,
That's right. That was one of the first scenes we shot.
if you don't fall in love with the movie, there
Day one.
out.
That was day one.
was it
was.
really?
Yeah,
me,
it was day one.
So, talk to me a little bit. Okay, let's get into the actual production of the film. You got a great team around you. You've got
But even before we get there, I think we have to address that our Constantine, as I jumped into it, is not the comic book.
And is this a big debate? I mean, obviously, a lot of it was made about you're not blonde, you're not British, it's not in London. Is that a big?
Yeah, we went
discussion point?
Hollywood. I had a black coat, right? The original one was like brown.
How dare you?
I mean,
Sacrilege.
honestly, what we did was we were like, we loved the spirit of Constantine, the story we came up with, and Keanu was playing a version of Constantine, but it was not sort of a copy of the comic book version. It was like, we're not going to force him to be blonde. We're not going to force him into an English accent. We're not going to force him into the color of the coat. It's like, what's our interpretation of John Constantine?
It's interesting because I feel like it came at a good time for you guys to do that, because nowadays there's such a worry about the fandom and appeasing them first, the hardcore fans, which I respect. And look, we want the fandom to love what the interpretation is, but I think sometimes you can almost be too beholden and lose sight of the fact that it's a different thing.
Yeah, I just think you don't want to be like locked into these parameters of being like so utterly reverent to a fan base for something that, it's just like you fall in love with a thing for certain ideas, but to like just copy the, certain cut and exact color of a coat is
Right.
a little weird. But
Yeah, Keanu,
there's-
we did piss off some
Comic book, you
Hellboys
might
fans.
want to check out what midnight looks like.
right. the also look. The fact that you set this in LA, which I know Keanu was important to you, I mean, I think that also lends itself. Again, I go back to the trope that this, in many ways, is a noir. You might as well be. You're closer to Sam Spade or Philip Marlowe than a superhero in this, and I think the fact that you ended up shooting in LA adds to that vibe. Why was LA important to you at the time, Keanu?
No, I think that's a Francis question.
Well, I
Okay.
think we were one of the aspects I always loved about it was the noir side, was the noir aspect of the story, and so I was a big fan of all those noir movies, whether it's like Third Man to Maltese Falcon, to Chinatown, all of that, and read a lot as well, Jim Thompson novels, things like that, and so L.A. was and felt like the perfect spot to do a noir story, the sort of modern contemporary noir. So we set it in LA, and we actually hired Naomi Shohan, who had done Training Day, the production designer. And I was like, she'll find us the nooks and crannies of an LA we haven't seen a lot of, and make it feel very sort of grounded and authentic, which she did. But I think what Keanu did for us, which was good and which was great at the time, because I certainly at the time would not have had the power to do this. This was at a time when studios started saying like, oh great, your movie's set in LA, just go shoot it in Toronto.
Right.
And and Keanu luckily just made it, I think it was even contractual, but he was just like, it's set in LA, we're shooting in LA. And the studio had to say like, okay, great. And I was, like, yes. Actually, one of the 2 movies I've done that I've actually got to shoot at home, which is nice, but it should have been shot in LA, and we did.
This is using your movie star powers for good, Keanu. Well done.
Yes.
It shows in the finished product. I want to give some love to the amazing ensemble around you in this film. We've got Jaimin Onsu, Rachel Weisz, Shaya's fantastic, Peter Stormare, Tilda Swinton, amazing. Do you guys recall anything about the casting process? Were any of these folks challenging to get to the studio to say yes to? Were any of them no-brainers? What do you recall about casting the ensemble?
I will say that I think pretty much everybody in the cast was on my first choice list, like in terms of people that were in my original presentation. I think the two people that were different were Rachel and Shia. And I think the finding the person, the actress, finding Rachel, that was really tricky. We met with so many people, and finding that person that you believe had the intelligence we needed, that you believed could be a cop, that somehow also you believed could have something, some magic in them, some sort of connection to, you know, a more spiritual world, was really, really tricky, because there are plenty of people that could play cops, plenty of people that could play sort of mystical, but finding that kind of both and a great actress was tricky. And then we found her in Rachel, who's great. Everybody else was there. Like Pruitt was one of my first choices. Tilda was by far one of my first choices. And I think at the time, I think Tilda was a little less well known, and so everybody was sort of feeling like this might be a reach for the studio, so maybe we sort of fill the cast out a bit before we go to Tilda. And I was actually very nervous to meet Tilda, because I thought, you know, she was a very sort of esoteric, very smart, artsy actor. And she's just fucking fantastic. I mean, she was just an amazing person and so cool and so game, and came in and was just like ready to go, and also really loved making the movie.
One of my favorite small moments with Tilda and you, Keanu, is just when she kind of leans in. It's almost like she's about to kiss you, and instead says, "You're fucked."
Yeah.
I mean, you get the best actors, you get unexpected, great, crazy.
She was great. And then the only other thing that I'll say that was a surprise too, Peter Stormare was a bit of a surprise, and it was, we shot him toward the end of the movie, and he was the last character, because sort of the creation of Satan was something that we were struggling with. And one of the first things that I pitched to the studio was actually Satan, like, that looks like the Antichrist. And so it was actually sort of a satanic version of Christ that I think scared the shit out of the studio. I think they were just like panicked, and it got rejected. And then we sort of had to go back to the drawing boards, and you know, we've seen Satan many, many times. We've seen the child in The Omen. We've seen the, you know, the sort of, you know, seductive woman. We've seen, you know, De Niro and Angel Heart. There's so many variations. It was like, how can we do something new? And somehow I started thinking of like Fagin from Oliver Twist, and started thinking of those characters, and then started thinking of Peter Stormare, and we started riffing, and then the white suit and the black oil and all these different things came up, and the weird haircut and the veins and the tattoos and
no eyebrows, as I recall.
And yeah, and the sort of the vision for Satan kind of grew, and then I think he ended up getting hired maybe like 3 weeks before we shot him or something, and yeah, he's one of my favorite characters, other than Constantine in the movie. He's just so good in a limited amount of time. Good.
You obviously worked with
so weird with the cigarettes and his affect haircut and the white suit and the
so off. Yeah. You obviously have worked with Peter since then. Was that the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Keanu?
Yeah.
Nothing unchecked.
Yeah, very much so.
There is much to be found.
Yeah,
He's
it was really, it was really fun to work together. He's amazing.
These vermin are messed.
And so yeah, when he did his series, he gave me an invitation, and so that was, it was cool to get to work with him.
You've shot in Hell, by my count, at least twice. Bogus Journey and this. And we're not even counting Devil's Advocate, which obviously is Hell adjacent. So I have no analysis here, except it's an interesting factoid in your career.
You should look up how many Johns I've played.
Good point. Hey, I mean,
It's over 10.
you're our everyman. We project upon the John. Yes, that makes sense. What do you recall for both of you? Francis, first, your interpretation of Hell is really noteworthy in this, because it's this kind of parallel world that's really fucking disturbing, like almost like a nuked out end of days? When and how was that in the script, or when in the process did you arrive at that?
No. Basically, so when I signed on, the hell that was in the script was this kind of black void with these like sort of piles of bones and like oil slicks and stuff, and it was, I don't know, there was something about it that I felt like I had seen before, so that was going to need a new reinterpretation. And so I thought a fair amount about it, and I wanted to come at it sort of conceptually for the movie. So there was a few things. One was coming at this idea of, and this helped a lot, was that wherever you are at any given point, there's like a heaven version of where you are and a hell version of where you are. And that just sort of instantly gave geography that kind of made sense. And then was kind of coming up with this time dilation idea of like when you go into hell, right? It's like, you know, in normal life, time basically stops, so the time in hell is kind of eternal. Which is why you can go in and spend, you know, an hour and then come back and really like a door is just shut and, you know, a millisecond has gone by. That helped a lot. And then it was basically like, how can we make it as unpleasant as possible? And I started thinking about these, the sort of nuclear test footage, you know, from the bomb tests, and that kind of nuclear wind and the blast, and seeing that hitting buildings and trees and cars and all of that. And so that's basically what we did, was we sort of said that it's this inferno with this massive, almost sort of hurricane nuclear force winds, blasting everything with, you know, with ash and heat and fire and flame, and so all those ideas kind of started to stack upon one another. But it really helped to, I don't know, somehow ground it a little bit, and it made it really interesting. So instead of just like being on set in a black void with bones, you go, oh, what's the hell version of the 101 and, you know, Hollywood and Vine? That's far more interesting. We certainly haven't seen that.
Right.
With, you know, the 101 freeway and stopped cars and with the weird growth all over it.
And from a practical standpoint for you as an actor, Keanu,
What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle back again with some more videos. This time we are going to help out the new players with some starter teams, because this is a question I've been getting the last few days, especially because of the videos I've been putting out and the Game Pass and PS4 sale, all of that cool stuff. So for starter teams, we are going to talk about some stuff that's pretty easy to use, and I'll talk about how to gear them, stuff like that. And there are some that are a little more tricky to play than others, but don't worry too much, and I'll give you a quick tutorial on how to use them. So before we get started, make sure you check out my Twitch channel. I stream 4 days a week. Join Discord if you want to come hang out with cool people. And if you like the stuff, support on Patreon. All of that is fantastic and comes with their own perks. So the first team that we're talking about, this is actually the usual suspects. And don't freak out here, but my background has like all bunch of quest stuff here. But this team is called Tricky Glory. Normally this is Team Red Hook, and if you move it the other way, it's the usual suspects. But the reason I would actually tell you to start it in this order is specifically because of Highwayman and how this character plays. But we're going to start with Crusader. So pretty simple stuff. We're going to be running Smite. We have Stunning Blow. Stunning Blow is just a really good move. We have Holy Lance to move around in case stuff happens or we get moved out of position, because sometimes, you know, you get title slammed in the cove. That does happen. And then we have Inspiring Cry to stress heal and do some spot healing. You can swap in Battle Heal for something if you really want to, but I don't think you need Bulwark of Light, and definitely not Zealous Accusation. There's just not a build that needs that. And for trinkets, anything that gives you some accuracy, because we don't have really any other way to get accuracy besides quirks. So having accuracy with Focus Ring or Warrior's Cap or Reckless Charm, those are some low level options. Surgical Gloves are very good as well. So anything that gives you some accuracy is good enough here. Then Paralyzer's Crest I like quite a bit. This makes sure that your stun sticks somewhat reliably, but this is your most flexible slot. This could be something defensive, this could be a survival guide, this could be, like I said, defensive resist trinket, this could be Sign Conscription or Ancestor Scroll if you have those as well to boost your stress healing. Those are all fine and dandy. For Vestal, we're going to run the stock Vestal setup, which is just the 4 middle skills. This is the premier Vestal healing loadout. So we have Judgment to zap things from range 4, because this team kind of struggles with reach a little bit. And we have Dazzling Light just because the stun's good. Then we have the 2 heals. Her trinkets are pretty flexible. Usually I give her one healing trinket and then something else. In this case, I'm just putting the map on her just to give her some utility. And the map, if you watched my last video, this is something that we can swap around to other people. So that's pretty cool. For Highwayman, so the reason we start him in 3 or potentially 4 is because like the more experience that myself and others have gotten collectively as a community, as good as point blank shot is, you usually want to have Highwayman get his riposte up and then start cleaning up the back ranks before doing anything else. And if you put him in rank 2 where Vestal's at and then you duelist up front and then use point blank shot, you're leaving rank 4 and 3 open.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. wagons stand at the ready. The circus has come to town. Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike. The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The abbey calls to the faithful.
A traveling bacchanal. A debauched contest of survival.
The butcher's circus is all these things and more.
I don't know how that works.
Blight had struck the harvest again that year, and the miller was desperate. He came to me, hat clutched tightly in filthy fingers, thinking of sweat and manure. Seated comfortably in my observatory, surrounded by telescopes and other delicate apparatus, I recognized his fortune as an opportunity, and I agreed to lend him my expertise.
Yo, what's up?
Oh my fucking god, I'm not there! I have a pulled out through Fluky that's kind of nuts. Oh god, he's gonna watch me play. He's gonna think I'm ass. I'm so ready.
Yo, ready?
Yes. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh.
Okay, so what rank are you?
I am like my actual rank or like the rank that's shown, because those are very different things.
Wait, what?
So like what's shown is bronze 1, right?
Oh, okay. But what's like?
My-
So you haven't really played yet.
No, well, yeah, just I play for fun, and all that.
Uh huh. All right. So where are we starting? I'm looking. Silver 1 last split.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, this is good. His
I
expectations.
just want to know where we're starting so I can get a sense of like what I should be focusing on.
This is good. Your expectations are quite low.
No, not at all. Show
No,
me what you got.
it's good. It's fine.
You mostly play artillery mages, right?
Yeah, I like Lux. I like Mel. I like Vex.
Yeah.
I like Oriana. I like LeBlanc. Nico. That's it. I don't know. There's more, but
Okay. Lily beat Shifter in Twitch Rivals. Is this true?
no. What? No.
Lily completely gapped Shifter in Twitch Rivals and talked smack in all chat.
That's
This is true.
crazy. I don't know what they're talking about. Just gotta.
How's your day going so far?
Oh, it's good. Starting the day off with League of Legends. I expect to climb at least like 4 ranks out of today. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm not really gonna be telling. I wasn't really gonna say what to do in the game and stuff. I'll give like light pointers, but
Okay, so they want to swap order. Can I decline?
yeah, you can decline.
Wait, would you accept this?
I'd accept it, yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Because usually I think top counter is valuable, and mid, especially if you're just gonna play like Lux and Mel and things like that, that's pretty blindable.
Okay, I'll accept. So I banned Silas or Yasuo. I hate them.
Never say sorry.
Oh,
You're
okay.
showing weakness.
No, sorry. Oh, I feel bad now. There are a lot of times I play Flex 5s with Scarra and I make him swap with me.
But Scar is like
Like, he's so good at the game, though.
Scar.
figure.
Yeah, he can handle it.
Yeah, he
like,
can do anything.
So in that scenario, it's fine.
Okay. What do I just pick anything, right?
Yeah, you just pick whatever. I mean, if you want to sweat it out, you can swap your support, and maybe he'll accept because they pick their support.
Oh.
Or you can just pick whatever.
Oh my god, they're so nice. What a nice team this is. I feel good about this game.
Chill, that's like expected of him. And also he picked a garbage pick, so like, I don't know.
Swain? Isn't Swain good?
Swain support, I mean...
I've seen Scarra play
I
Swain
don't really rate it.
every lane, and he's so good.
Yeah, Scar is different though.
Oh, okay.
Equal skill versus equal skill, I'd take the Thresh. But I mean, it's fine. Team composition and picks don't really matter much until you climb like a lot higher.
That's true. I heard in the Seal you can play whatever you want.
That's pretty true, yeah.
Oh gosh, what do I pick? I wish it was a random button. Okay, I'm gonna play Lux because it's like comfort. Let's light it up.
Okay.
Okay, what skin should I pick?
Okay. Yeah, that's very important. And then we're gonna have to look at the runes, which is not as important, but
Yeah,
still
but
a little
the
important.
skin. Which skin should I pick?
I like the redhead one.
Oh, like Prestige?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay, I'll pick the Prestige. Okay, but 2022 or pre-2022?
Or like, I would always use Sorceress Lock.
Sorceress?
Yeah. It's like one of her first skins. Or not that one, the other one, Spell Thief.
Spell Thief. I was gonna say Spell Thief is pretty good. I used to use this one a lot. Oh no, I should have been Silas. I lost in Champ Select.
Check the runes.
Oh,
No, you're
sorry,
fine.
sorry.
You're fine.
This is what I go.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I go attack speed because so I can auto attack more, but that's up
Attack
to your
speed?
preference. Yeah. Pretty much everyone does that on mages in high rank,
Oh my god.
so that you can weave in more autos.
Oh. See, I can't. Let's see. I have 15 seconds, and knowing me, I'm gonna mess up. So I'm probably not gonna go for that.
Yeah, that's fine. Pick the redhead Lux. Nice.
Red Lux. Okay. Alright. This is really... Oh man. Okay. Silas. Okay. I do have... Historically, I have had trouble against Silas.
Okay. Why? What is it about Silas?
He lands one thing on me and then my health is gone. Yes.
That's fair. Yeah, you gotta dodge your stuff. Do you like panic when he dashes at you, or do you just try to dodge?
I
Like try and dodge and
try
get
to
hit, or
dodge.
do you just get... Okay.
This is gonna be so fun. Oh wait, where am I going? Just be better.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I'm fearless.
Damn, you have really low ping. You play with lower ping than I do.
What?
Like, I have like 60 ping.
Does it matter between 40 and 60 ping though?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
I gotta get
can't
that
tell.
Lily Pichu internet.
I cannot tell. I could honestly play with like 90 ping, I wouldn't tell.
I don't think I'm getting your in-game sound.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, never mind. I am.
Oh, okay. Was it just slow?
I think so, yeah.
I played 90 ping once before. I remember when I lived on the East Coast.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, I am in bronze, so
What? You're fucking smurfing.
what the heck? This is bronze.
Oh, I would have taken E again there.
Oh,
So that
really?
you can push this faster. Yeah, because you need to push and you need to recall. Now you want to push as fast as you can, so that you can get your recall off.
Yay! No, I'm just in bronze or something. This is like bronze elo. Ooh, that was okay. So I get. Is that good? Okay.
Dark seal, dark seal, dark seal.
Wow!
That's fine, it's fine. Just go back to
Do I
lane.
teleport? Oh, I should teleport.
At this point, you should just walk. It's fine. If you were faster, I think it would have been worth the teleport. But... as long as you get the scanning, you're fine. So yeah, I would have bought Dark Shield there. With gold. It's a lot better than boots.
Oops. I don't know what he's. I don't know. I'm just. This is. No!
That's okay. I like the hold on the E. No, don't listen to him.
He's pinging
stupid as hell
me!
for doing that.
My mental
mute
is
him.
going down! There's
Mute
no
him,
way. I
mute
have to
him.
flash. I have to flash for him now.
No, you don't. You don't have to. Doesn't he still have flash? Don't go left. Go left. Nice. Oh, nice. Nice weaving on your faster.
Oh my god, I didn't even see it!
Oh, nice. You got the root off.
Sorry, I was busy emoting. Do you emote?
Not really.
Oh.
I only emote when I'm tilted at my own teammates.
Okay, I just finished this, right?
Amp Tome Dark Seal. No, no.
Wait, what do you... What?
Amp Tome
Uh-huh.
Dark Seal.
Wait.
Okay, TP back, TP back, TP back. Okay, Lily Pichu.
Yay!
Did you recognize you're gonna hit 6 off that creep?
Oh, yeah, it was all calculated. I was just doing some quick math, you know? I don't know. I go help Dragon? I go help Dragon.
Your job is not to help with this.
Oh, I don't help with this. But like, I'm a team player, you know?
Okay, now you stay. Now just stay at this point and then fix it with your ult. No, stay mid, stay mid, stay mid, stay mid. You're too selfless.
Wait, why wouldn't I? Because I get Dragon faster.